Surah 40, Al-Momin. The convinced believer. Ayat 1. Allah, the most wise and knowledgeable, says. Ayat 2. This divine code has been revealed from Allah Almighty, who wields absolute command and authority and has knowledge of everything. Ayat 3. It also guides those who adopt this code to the way they can remain safe from the adverse effects of any lapse that may occur at their hands. If they take a wrong turn at a crossroads and come back after realizing their mistake, the code provides them an opportunity for reprieve. However, on those who deliberately commit aggression, his grip is very rigorous. His law of mukafat encompasses everything, and therefore, its grip is very rigorous. No one except him holds any authority or power in the universe. The result of every deed is formulated according to his laws. Ayat 4. Some people, from the outset, make up their minds that they are not going to accept Allah's laws and question the truth of these laws. At present, these people hold power and authority in the habitations, and it is on this very basis that they have such an irrational attitude. However, this situation should not create any misunderstanding for you, as their ultimate result would be destruction, and the proof of this can be found in the historical episodes of previous generations. Ayat 5. For example, before them, the people of Noah and later, various other groups and factions belied these laws. So much so that they even planned to lay their hands on the messengers who conveyed the divine code to them. They plotted against their Rasul, messengers, and raised frivolous disputes so as to undermine the truth. But what happened ultimately? Our law of mukafat overtook every one of them, and the whole world witnessed the terrible result of those who are chased by our law. Ayat 6. In this way, the decree of your Rabb, which was conveyed to them, that the result of violating the divine laws would be destruction, proved true, and all their deeds and efforts were burnt to ashes. This will happen to these people as well. Ayat 7. On the other hand, there are people who believe in the truth of the divine laws and try to mold their lives accordingly. For them, all the heavenly forces that execute the divine plans become a source of help. These forces are assigned the task of maintaining his central control over the entire universe. At the same time, they implement his program so that Allah's system of Rububiyyah, which deserves all praise and hamd, continues to function perfectly. They have full trust in it. These forces are a source of strength for the Momineen and also provide them with protection against all dangers. They proclaim, O our Rabb, just as your system of Rububiyyah encompasses the entire universe, knows the latent abilities of everything, and shows also how these can be developed, the same should happen in the human world as well. This group of Momineen has stood up to achieve the same. Therefore, if they slip up somewhere and realize their mistake and want to make good the damage, grant them protection against the harmful effects of their wrong attitude so that they can proceed unhampered on the path decreed by you. Also, provide them protection against the suffering resulting from destructive forces. Ayat 8. O our Rabb, bestow all the happiness and pleasant things of life on them so that they remain ever blissful and never wither away. This is the kind of life you had promised them. Make them enter this heavenly society along with those from amongst their forefathers, spouses, and progeny who have developed the capability of living in such a society. All this will happen according to your law of mukafat, which is extremely powerful and is based on wisdom and not on irrationality. Ayat 9. O our Rabb, keep their society safe from chaos and disorder, as only the societies which can benefit from your Rahmah and Rububiyyah can save themselves from disorder. There is no doubt that it is a great achievement and success for whoever attains it. Ayat 10. On the Day of Judgment, those who rejected the divine laws would be told, you were also invited to lead this kind of life. However, at that time, you rejected it and rebelled against it. Today you can see the results of your attitude. Today you are fed up with yourself, but the disgust of the divine order which produces such pleasant results is even more intense. Ayat 11. They would say, O our Rabb, twice you have caused us to die and twice you have brought us to life. Before we were born into this world, we were dead, and you gave us life, then we died, and again you have given us life. However, life in Jahannam is worse than death. We now confess our guilt. As such, is there any way out of this suffering so that we can also enjoy the pleasantness of real life? Ayat 12. They would be told, when you were called upon to obey the divine laws of Allah the Only One, you rejected them. But you immediately accepted the partners who were ascribed to Him. Today you have seen for yourself that all decisions are made as per Allah and only Allah's laws. No one else has any share in these laws. He is the most exalted and the greatest. No one can share His domain. Ayat 13. O Rasul! Present these facts before the people and tell them that this invitation is from the Almighty, who continues to show you His signs in the universe so that you may adopt the right course. For example, He brings down rain from the skies, which in turn produces sustenance for you. If you ponder only over this phenomenon, it will lead you to so many other realities. However, such matters can only become clear to a person who pays attention to them. Ayat 14. In brief, the way to live is to sincerely obey only Allah's laws, without ascribing a share to anyone else, regardless of how detestable it might be to the people who deny the truth. Ayat 15. These laws are from the Allah who is at the highest status. Neither has He attained that height progressively, nor did He evolve to that position. He is there by Himself, and He will also bestow a high position on those who obey His laws. The central command and control of the entire universe are in His hands. He reveals His laws for the guidance of the people through wahi. And for this purpose, from amongst His subjects, He selects the person He likes and reveals to him His laws through wahi. That Rasul conveys these laws to other people, thus making them aware of the fact that the consequence of every action of theirs is bound to confront them one day. Ayat 16. The accumulation of results starts as soon as the action takes place, but the results become apparent after a course of time. No action of any human being remains hidden from His law of mukafat. Every action produces its respective results. On the day when their actions manifest themselves, they will be questioned, with whom does the entity of power, authority, and sovereignty rest today? They will proclaim spontaneously, entire authority and power rest with Allah alone. He holds absolute control over everything that exists. It was due to our sheer ignorance that along with Him, we ascribed powers to others. Ayat 17. On that day, everyone will be fully requited for whatever he has done. No injustice will be done to anyone, and Allah's law of mukafat is very swift in evaluating. As has been said earlier, the accumulation of consequences starts as soon as the action takes place. Ayat 18. O Rasul! With this wahi, continue to warn these people about the day of judgment, which is not too far away. On that day, with their hearts stuck in their throats, they will be shocked to see the results of their deeds. They will be anxious to get out, but at that time, these Zalimin will not find any friend or intercessor whose word could be heard. Ayat 19. On that day, the outcome of all deeds would be manifested as per Allah's law of mukafat. According to these laws, the visible actions apart, God knows even about the stealthiest of glances and about all that one thinks of privately. Ayat 20. God decides all affairs justly. However, the entities whose authority and supremacy these people acknowledge, besides that of Allah, have no power to decide any of their affairs. The ability and power to decide shows that the phenomenon of deciding every matter as per the law of mukafat has been established by God. He is the only one whose laws are prevalent in society, and Allah alone is all-hearing, all-seeing. Accordingly, no one's action can remain outside the ambit of His law. Ayat 21. Historical evidence shows how God justly decides these affairs and how his law of mukafat manifests itself. Haven't they traveled across the earth and seen the end of earlier nations? Those nations were in fact much more powerful than these people and were also able to achieve higher production, and obtain more means of sustenance from the earth. However, when they went astray, Allah's law of mukafat punished them, and no one was able to save them. Ayat 22. This happened because they refused to accept the explicit laws which their Rasul, messengers, brought them. As a consequence, Allah's law of mukafat got them, as that law is extremely powerful and pursues criminals relentlessly. Ayat 23-24. From historical evidence, consider the case of the Pharaoh's nation as an example. We had sent Moses to the Pharaoh, the embodiment of oppression and dictatorship, Haman, the diehard leader of the priests, and Qarun, Korah, the symbol of capitalism, with our laws and explicit evidence. The laws that Moses had brought directly affected all three of them, therefore, they dubbed him an illusionist and a liar. Ayat 25. Since he had brought the truth to them, they had no argument to appropriately rebut him. Therefore, they started using tactics which are normally used by people who are intoxicated with power. They decided that the respectable people, from amongst those who believed in Moses' God and joined his group of companions, should be humiliated. On the other hand, those amongst the Bani Israel who were meek and lacked any manly quality, should be elevated to power. And by using these tactics, they hoped to break the collective power of Moses' group. None of their tactics worked, as the world ultimately saw. Ayat 26. When the Pharaoh realized that none of his tactics had worked, he finally told his courtiers, "Now leave it to me, and I will slay Moses. Let him call his Rab and let us see how he saves him. I am afraid that Moses will replace your system of government with another one. Failing which, he will, at the least, destroy the existing system and create chaos in the land." Ayat 27. Upon this Moses said, "I seek refuge with the Almighty, who is my Rab as well as yours, from the oppression of all those who are arrogant and rebellious, and who do not believe in the day of accountability." Ayat 28. When the situation took this turn, a Manan from amongst the people of the Pharaoh, who had secretly accepted Iman, stood up and said in the open court, "Would you slay a man simply because he says that his sustainer is Allah, and because he has brought explicit reasons from his Rab? He presents his claim with wisdom and insight and proves it with rational clarity, yet you want to kill him. The whole matter is very clear. If he is lying about his claim of Risala, prophethood, he will suffer the consequences. However, if he is telling the truth, then remember that the punishment and calamity about which he is cautioning is bound to befall you. You should keep in mind the principle that Allah does not award success to anyone who makes false promises and transgresses his laws." Ayat 29. O my people! There is no doubt that today you are enjoying your rule on earth and control over everything here. However, tell me, who will save us from Allah's scourge should it befall us? The Pharaoh said, "I have pointed out to you what I believe is right. It would be better for you to follow what I said earlier, that is to kill Moses. Remember, I have always guided you to the path which is beneficial for you." Ayat 30. The Manan said, "O my people! I am afraid that you might suffer the same fate as the other nations before you." Ayat 31. Your condition might not be like that of the people of Noah, Ad, and Thamud and other nations which came after them. Their destruction was the consequence of their own misdeeds. Allah is never unjust to his subjects. Ayat 32. He further warned, "O my people! I am afraid of the time, when Allah's chastisement will surround you from all sides and such chaos will arise that, you will cry for each other's help, and yet no one will be able to help." Ayat 33. You may turn your backs and run away to escape the doom. But the doom will not stop chasing you. you will not get refuge anywhere. Then the reality will dawn on you, that, no one can show the path leading to success to the people who abandon the right course indicated by Allah. Ayat 34. And remember that earlier Joseph had also come to you with explicit laws from the Almighty, but you continued to doubt the message. Therefore, when he died, you were happy that this episode was over. You believed that from then onward, Allah would not send any other Rasul. And no one would question your ways. Remember those who violate the limits and are doubtful about the divine laws, will go astray as per the divine laws. Ayat 35. Even though human beings do not have the power to succeed by waging war against the divine laws, these people are always fighting against them. Such an attitude is loathsome. It is also unacceptable to those who believe in the truth of these laws. It is due to this loathing that Allah's law of mukafat seals off the hearts, minds, of those who are arrogant and conceited. Their ability to understand the truth is lost. Ayat 36-37. In order to ridicule the Manan's warning, the Pharaoh said, O Haman, build me a high tower from where I can reach the sky routes leading to the God of Moses and then have a look at him. I consider this man, Moses, to be a liar. This was the attitude that made every evil deed appear attractive to the Pharaoh. It stopped him from following the right path. The Pharaoh used many tactics against Moses, but these led to nothing but mental torment for his own self. Ayat 38. Ignoring the Pharaoh's interruption, the Manan went on to say, O my people! Do not pay any attention to what the Pharaoh says. You should work according to what I say. I shall guide you to the right path, whereas he wants to take you to the path of destruction. Ayat 39. O my people! Worldly gains are temporary, and the benefits of the future are enduring and permanent. There is no doubt that the wealth of this world is important. However, one should understand the conflict between immediate gains and the life of the future. That is so because this world is ephemeral, while the ultimate abode of man is the life in the hereafter. Ayat 40. These matters are not decided as per the laws of a worldly king but according to the divine law of mukafat. Whoever does an evil deed will be treated accordingly. The abode of any man or woman who has faith in the truth of these laws and works righteously will be Jannah, where there will be abundant provisions for sustenance. There will be no limit to the comforts and blessings. Ayat 41. O my people! Is it not strange that while I invite you towards the path which would safeguard you from all calamities, you are calling me to the wrath of Jahannam? Ayat 42. In other words, you are inviting me to reject the divine laws and to ascribe partners to Allah. I have no evidence or reason to believe that such partners have any authority or power. On the other hand, I am inviting you towards Allah who is all-powerful and who protects those who follow His laws from all dangers. Ayat 43. There is no doubt that what you invite me to neither provides peace or tranquility in this world, nor does it have any worth in the hereafter. This is not to say that every call that claims to assure happiness and comfort would actually do so. All our affairs are decided according to Allah's law of mukafat. Therefore, only that call which actually takes one to the path of comfort and happiness is correct. The ultimate result for whoever transgresses will be doom and destruction. Ayat 44. O my people! I have said all that I wanted to. Soon a time will come when you will remember my words. I know that most of you did not like what I said. However, I do not care for the unhappiness which my truth may cause you. Now I leave all my affairs in the care of Allah, who is ever watchful of His subjects. Ayat 45. The Pharaoh and his people could not tolerate the bluntness of this Manan. They associated him with the opponents and considered him to be a conspirator. They planned to cause him harm. But Allah Almighty saved him from all the conspirators, and dreadful sufferings befell the Pharaoh's nation from all sides. Ayat 46. They suffered everlasting chastisement and destruction in this world. Furthermore, on the day of judgment, a command will be given that they should be severely punished. Ayat 47. In Jahannam, they will argue with each other, and the weaker ones, ordinary people, will say to the arrogant leaders, "Behold, you had kept us as your followers. Now, can't you ward off even a portion of this chastisement?" Ayat 48. The arrogant leaders will reply, "We are all in it, and this is the judgment of Allah, based on the deeds of the people. No one has any authority to change it, our leadership has finished totally." Ayat 49. The inmates of Jahannam will beseech their keepers, "Ask your Rabb to lessen this suffering, for a short while, at least." Ayat 50. They will reply, "Did your Rasul, messengers, not come to you with explicit and convincing divine laws?" Their reply will be in the affirmative. Then the keepers will ask further, "When you had deliberately defied the divine laws, how can we now make such a request to the Almighty? It is better that you yourself make such a request. How can such wailings benefit the people who have been rebelling against the divine laws?" Ayat 51. O Rasul! Tell them that, our succor and help are always with our Rasul, messengers, and with people who believe in the truth of our laws. We will help them in their lives on earth, and on the day when the resultant effects of all their deeds will be presented to them. Ayat 52. On that day, the excuses of the people who had rebelled against our laws would be of no avail. They would be deprived of all the pleasant things, and their abode would be woeful. Ayat 53. This, in brief, was the story of the people of the Pharaoh, to whom we had sent Moses. We had also given Moses a divine code, and the Bani Israel were heirs to it. Ayat 54. In that code, there was guidance and a reminder for those who use their wisdom and rationality. Ayat 55. Moses stood steadfast in this struggle. Like this, O Rasul, you should also remain firm and steadfast and continue with your mission. Allah's promise always comes true, whatever He says will definitely happen. Through the divine laws, you should seek protection against whatever your opponents say or from those who cast aspersions on you. The way to achieve this is to continue to establish the Nizam-e-Rububiyyah. On seeing its pleasant results, everyone will be appreciative and say that it really deserves hamd. Ayat 56. Although human beings are not capable of succeeding in this fight against the divine laws, all your opponents who are disputing the divine laws without reason are doing so in order to capture authority in the country. However, they cannot acquire authority in this way. It can only be achieved by following the divine laws. Their desire to become superior is making them do all this. This is not the way to become superior. O Rasul! Do not give any importance to what they say. In order to remain safe from the ill effects of their designs, you should take protection behind the shield of Allah's laws. These laws are God's, who is all-hearing and all-seeing. Ayat 57. These people believe that the outer universe is governed by divine laws and that there is no sovereign over human beings. Consequently, they feel that they are free to do anything they like, and that no one will question them. This notion is incorrect. The fact is that the creation of the universe is indeed a far greater phenomenon than the creation of man. How could human beings remain outside the grip of His law, when the whole universe follows the divine laws? Nevertheless, most people do not understand this reality. Ayat 58. All affairs of mankind are judged according to the divine law. A blind man cannot be equated with one who can see. Under the same law, how can a man who believes in the permanent values of life and accordingly works to improve himself and the society, be equated with those who create chaos and disorder? How strange it is that you do not reflect on such a simple matter. Ayat 59. Remember that the revolution, at which time we have said that these two groups would not be treated equally, is bound to take place, and certainly there is no doubt about it. but most people are not prepared to accept this fact. Ayat 60. For this revolutionary program, you should call for the divine laws at every crossroad of life. The law will surely answer your call and guide you. Calling the law means finding the one applicable to any particular situation. Remember, those who disobey the divine laws will be humiliated and end up by being punished. Ayat 61. Allah Almighty arranged that for the sake of your physical development, you should work in the light of the day and rest during the night. Thus you can recuperate. God has graciously provided mankind many facilities to aid him during human struggles, but most people are ungrateful and do not take full benefit. Ayat 62. This is your Allah, who has made magnificent arrangements for your nourishment. He is the creator of all things. There is no one else besides him who wields authority and power. And, surprisingly, instead of coming to him, you turn away from him. Ayat 63. Just like you, they also turned away from the divine laws and raised unnecessary objections. You are well aware of their end result. The same would apply to you. Ayat 64. It is the wonder of his Nizam-e-Rububiyyah that he, gradually, made the earth suitable for you to live on. He enveloped it with an atmosphere that keeps you safe from falling meteors. Then he formed your life in a way that is very balanced and beautiful, and for your development he provided pleasant means of nourishment. This, then, is your Allah, who develops not only you but also the entire universe and all humanity. He is not the Rabb of one particular group or people or nation, but of all the worlds. Just think about how much of an embodiment of bounty and bliss he, who has undertaken the responsibility of providing nourishment universally, is. Ayat 65. He is ever living. Everyone else gets life from him. No one besides him wields any authority or power. Therefore, you should only obey his laws. In this way, the universal Nizam-e-Rububiyyah would be established in your society. Whoever sees it would exclaim, certainly all hamd is for Allah, whose laws produce such pleasant results. Ayat 66. O Rasul! Tell these people that a clear and convincing code of Rububiyyah has been revealed to you, and that you have been ordered to submit to the divine laws that undertake the responsibility of universal Rububiyyah. Furthermore, tell them that you have been forbidden to obey the other beings whose power and authority they accept. Ayat 67. The living proof of his Nizam-e-Rububiyyah is your own self. He initiated your creation out of inorganic matter. He takes you through various phases of evolution and brings you to the stage where life is created out of a sperm. In the uterus, he converts the sperm into a leech form, the embryo, and then brings you into this world in the shape of a baby. Then you grow up and reach the age of maturity, following which you gradually become old. Some of you die in childhood while others reach the age when one is capable of using his wisdom and reason. Ayat 68. Life is bestowed according to Allah's laws. Death also occurs according to his law. Such is the position of his all-encompassing powers that when he decides to do anything, its initial stage comes into existence instantly. Then, according to his law of Rububiyyah, it reaches its destined goal, having passed through various stages of evolution. Ayat 69. This is the divine law about which there is no doubt. However, have you not seen the people who raise disputes and wrangle with regard to Allah's laws? Just ask them, what other path do they want to take, after turning away from Allah's road? Ayat 70. These are the people who belie the divine code, the Qur'an. Since the Qur'an is the ultimate epitome of all the books sent to the previous Rusul, messengers, belying it amounts to rejecting all the previous teachings that had been sent from time to time, through the Rusul, messengers. However, they harm no one except themselves. They will soon see for themselves the result of their denial. Ayat 71-74. In chains, with yokes around their necks, they will be dragged into the boiling fluid and then thrown into the fire. At that time, they will be asked where were those whom they obeyed and to whom they ascribed a share of Allah's divinity. Now call them for help, they shall reply, they have disappeared and cannot be seen anywhere. The reality has now dawned upon us that the powers which we attributed to our lords, in actual fact had no real existence. The divine law of mukafat destroys those who deny the truth. Ayat 75. They will be told that they are in this miserable condition because you were proud of yourself without doing anything constructive, and you were arrogantly intoxicated by the powers with which you wanted to attain greatness. Ayat 76. Now, enter Jahannam from various gates and dwell therein. The abode of those who are unjustly proud is surely miserable. Ayat 77. O Rasul! You should clearly explain all this to them. Thereafter, remain steadfast in the implementation of your program. All promises of Allah are true, whatever is being told to you will happen exactly in that way. But it is possible that some things will be manifested during your life, and some after your death. But this does not make any difference. You should carry on with your mission. It is up to us to decide when the results should manifest themselves. Our law of mukafat continues to function all the time, and every step of these people brings them closer to it. They cannot go out of it. Ayat 78. We know that these people are in a hurry and ask you to tell them the timing of the promised chastisement and what the visible signs would be. This demand is not new. Before you, we had sent forth many Rusul, messengers, to various nations. We have narrated to you the affairs of some of them. There are others whose affairs have not been revealed to you. None of them had the authority to bring forth the destruction about which they were warning their opponents. All this happens according to the law of mukafat and respite. When the time is ripe for the manifestation of the results, everything will be decided with absolute justice. All the people who were involved in destructive efforts will perish. Just as it has happened before, it will happen in the same way. Ayat 79. As regards their insistence on seeing some visible signs, there are thousands of Allah's signs moving around them. But what can be done about a person who does not want to take note of the signs? Tell them, it is Allah who has created cattle for you, some of them you use for traveling, and others you eat. Ayat 80. And they have other benefits for you. You carry your goods on them and reach your destination. In addition to these animals, you also travel on boats. Ayat 81. All these are signs of Allah, which are visible around you. Which signs can you deny? Ayat 82. If these people want to observe how erroneous deeds destroy nations, then tell them, you can travel around the earth and observe the ultimate end of the nations which lived before you. They were more in number and greater in power than these people. And they had better control over the means of sustenance derived from the earth. However, their wealth and hard work could not save them from the destructive results of their deeds. It was of no avail to them. Ayat 83. For whenever their Rusul, messengers, came to them with clear divine laws, they belied those laws, and were conceited about their own knowledge. The result was that they were overtaken by the chastisement which they had ridiculed. Ayat 84. When they saw the impending doom they cried out, we now believe in one Allah and renounce all other beings to whom we ascribed a share in Allah's divinity. Ayat 85. But that proclamation of Iman was of no use to them. Only that Iman is useful that is proclaimed before the manifestation of the consequences of one's deeds, because at that time by taking corrective measures, there is still the possibility of eradicating the ill effects of one's wrong deeds. This is the unalterable law of Allah which has been in force since the beginning of man's life on earth. The gist of this law is that those who refuse to follow the divine law undergo suffering and are ultimately destroyed.